All right, we are back. Technical difficulties. Looks like Disney did
Man,
not like that conversation.
seems like it, man. But you were cooking, TR. You actually made a point that I wanted to jump in on. If you want to just pick up where we left off, um,
Um, where did we leave off at? Was the fathers?
yeah, you once I brought up the stepfather, you were about to go off on that one. If you want to just pick it up there.
Okay, yeah. So, all right. So, what I was saying about this whole stepfather or fathers and black men in general, like, look, white men, you were represented by the Jebediah. I don't know the first dude. I think his name was his name Jebediah in the first Iron Man, the bad guy.
Oh, was it? Oh, I thought it was Obadiah. Hold on, let me
It
see.
might have been Obadiah. Yeah, yeah. So, anyways, so you guys were represented in there, and that his son. I looked that up though. He is not represented very well in the comics. He comes off like a very, weird dude, awkward. Trying to, he had his father's ashes in there, and I was like, this is just a terrible
Yeah,
version of this
Obadiah
guy.
Stane, TR. Obadiah
Okay,
Stane.
Obadiah. Got it. Okay. Yeah. So his son is his representation in there. And I don't like how they were treating him for starters, because they just made him like the woman's like, his neighbor's dog is just shitting in his yard and everything. He can't do anything about it, blah, blah, blah. And then he starts working on himself. I thought that was really weird because the guy he hadn't shown anything. He was just collecting weapons, which is also another conversation. But he just starts working on himself, and then he gets popped, and yeah, he's already arrested, or he gets arrested because of Riri. But anyways, so that's just my whole point in there. But when it comes to like, black men, there really isn't a black, when it comes to any black men in this whole series, they're deemed like in a negative light, because her stepdad, I mean, he cared for them, and by all accounts, Riri should have a good childhood before he died. Riri should have a good childhood with him, but she sells off his cars. If he's the man that they said he was, they would never sell off his car, and she would never sell off her car because she was like, I needed the money for the parts, blah blah blah. Tony Stark has all this money and everything. I was like, if you are the smartest person in the Marvel, one of the smartest people in the Marvel universe, there should be no problem for you to get money or work for a company making money. Like, there's just none. It's just a bunch of BS. It's just taking shots at men again. And honestly, MC, I know this can sound kind of controversial though, but Ryan Coogler, I don't know if he should be doing Marvel movies. I'm with the like Kevin Feige should be done. I haven't seen the new Superman, but I've heard some things with regarding James Gunn, his version of it. But a lot of these people that have been doing a lot of that have been directing multiple superhero movies, they're starting to lose their fastball on this stuff. So I wasn't a fan of the Black Panther 2 movie. I recently saw it, maybe like I saw it last year, and so it's been out for a while. Just because I was upset that they didn't recast the Black Panther. So hopefully they do in the next Black Panther movie. But I got questions because Coogler was involved with this. He had his hands on this, and he was doing a lot of the videos. And I just don't think it was a good product for him. And I know a lot of people are going to say they got all these high ratings. Well, why isn't I getting a second season?
So you said a lot there. Let me go back. Number one, every problem that Riri had in that show was self inflicted. I think
Yeah,
we agree on that. And particularly, you talked about the way she kind of down talked Tony Stark. That's one of the 48 laws of power. You never outshine the master. If you picked up game and everything you know based on him inspiring you, it's probably not a good look to tarnish him. But I get it. Where I don't fully agree with you, you talked about the portrayal of men. Um, I think they were pretty good. There were two very good examples in The Stepfather. And then you also have, and I don't know if he was a love interest. I know he was, I know, she kind of had that love
the
interest
simp
thing
dude,
with her friend.
the simp
I,
dude,
I don't know if you want to
he
throw him
could
in the
have
sim
easily.
category. If you want to
No,
throw him in the sim category, go ahead.
yes, because
But
he could have easily had anybody else. I'm sorry, MC, but he could have had anybody else, and he was fixated on Riri, and Riri just kept pushing him and everything. So
I don't
after
know if that's true, T.O. I don't know if I could rock with that.
All right.
They was kind of doing this passive aggressive thing where I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know what to make of it, honestly.
Well, I thought she was. I mean, honestly, I thought she was playing the other side because they mentioned that a lot. They mentioned that.
Oh, they
Like,
slid that in. The mom slid that
yeah.
in for sure. But Ryan Coogler does great work, and I suspect this was an alley oop for those two directors that you just talked about because that happens a lot with Marvel. People will put their name on things just for the brand recognition, and then they'll actually put like an apprentice or somebody who they think is up and coming. And we have to remember the first Black Panther that wasn't supposed to go to Ryan Coogler. Ava DuVernay was supposed to have that. Thank
Who?
God she gave it to him. Ava DuVernay.
Oh
She
man, they were gonna give it. Okay, again, I know
if you
people.
look at the type of movies and some of the comments that she's made, I'm so glad she passed that off because Black
Holy
Panther did $1
crap!
billion. And
Yeah.
I'll give Black Panther 2 some grace because Chadwick had stage 4 cancer. He didn't tell anybody. He passed away, and everybody had to scramble to kind of figure out how they wanted to deal with it while mourning him at the same time. I never heard anybody who worked with him say anything negative about him, and they all took it hard. So I'm willing to extend a little bit of grace there. But if you look at Ryan Coogler's record and the movies that he's done, I've got no complaints on his work. Even the Creed stuff, man.
No, no, no. This isn't about Ryan. Okay, so let me.
The reason why I'm saying that is I'm saying
Well, I'm
when
saying
I heard
I'm
he
okay
was
with Coogler.
associated with it, I stepped out on faith and said I'm gonna give this a chance because I've trusted his work. But again, this was something that they had sitting in the chamber for so long, and the timing of it, I don't know, it just seemed off. It just seemed off to me.
Yeah. So real quick, so on the Coogler thing, I think he's great on the other stuff. I'm just saying when it comes to superheroes, like I said, Kevin Feige, he needs to step down. Coogler, he has this amazing. I mean, he's given like BP1, amazing. BP2, not amazing. And I know it did crazy numbers at the box office still. That movie's
Not
supposed to
compared to
do a
one.
well, yeah, it's supposed to do $1 billion. It did not do $1 billion. So there's something to be said there. And Disney just ever since, I mean, I think after the first one, Dooms or after Endgame, that was one of the first movies that came out after Endgame. So you have Black Panther 2. They could have recasted him, they should have recasted him. This storyline of them going after Submariner and the ending sequence, I have a lot of issues with that. But at the end of the day, though, Coogler, this will be the third or second movie where he is a Marvel or a superhero movie, not to the level where Black Panther 1 was at, and then he's going to get a third one. So we'll see what he does with the Black Panther 3, and they've got to recast Black Panther. You cannot go with Shuri being Black Pantheress and that being an okay thing. Like, I don't care who you bring in, you got plenty of black men to play back Black Panther 2, and you guys picked his sister and you want to pay homage. You could have easily did that. How many times have we seen a different version of I know this isn't Marvel, but we saw like 3 different versions of that wizard and Harry Potter. Like like we see different version of characters all the damn time. And so people were like, well, we got to make sure we, pay homage to him. I'm like, you can give him end credit. You could have did multiple things. You could have, I mean, like I said, I know it made money, but there's going to be a lot riding on Black Panther 3. So I think Coogler is good for all those other movies, but we're starting to see in my opinion, we're starting to see some decline. And so, that's my opinion. That's going to be very unpopular though. But the people that were, and the rest of the people that were involved with this, like I forget the lady's name I just said, not Samantha Bailey, but Angela Barnes. If you look up their record, if you look up their movies they've directed and cast, they all run into like a little circle. And so when you brought up the Slug guy, who brought Slug in was the chick, Angela Barnes, who directed the last 3. So she brought him in. She said, because I watched the video, and she said, "Oh, I was a fan of her, whatever he calls himself, was a fan of them, and then he had won like RuPaul's Drag Race or whatever it is. That's why that's how he showed up. That was the first movie he's ever been in, and so they were like, we're his biggest fan, and then they wanted him to come in and do a fight for the cast or do like a reading or whatever it is called." So but they wanted him no matter what. He was gonna get that part no matter what. This wasn't like it might happen. No, he was definitely getting the part. So they definitely rock with the same people in their circle, and I'm okay with that because we see it in a lot of other movies though. But it's starting to we're starting to see some cracks in the armor because Tony Hawk, the Iron Suit armor. But this is not getting a season 2. So at least as of now, it's not been said they're going to do a season 2.
So here's my thing. You think Ryan Coogler is the one that needs to go? I think Kevin Feige is. Marvel, this new phase of Marvel doesn't really have a lot of people excited. That was
Sure.
that was apparent with Thunderbolts. That was apparent with Captain
Yep.
America: Brave New World, both of which I liked, by the way.
I haven't seen
But
Thunderbolts, but I did like Brave New World.
I didn't think I would like Thunderbolts either. But I walked in thinking, I just thought I was just going to watch it to keep up with what was going on. But I ended up liking it. I like them both, but for some reason, people are not excited about this current phase of Marvel. And to a degree, I get it. In a perfect world, I like the original. I call them the originals. I like the Bruce Banners. I like the Steve Rogers. You know, I like the original characters. When you bring in the next gen Marvel, it just doesn't have the same effect with me. That's about the time I stopped reading comic books. That's about the time I stopped following comics, at least the animated shows. So I never got into the New Mutants or the New Avengers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But I will say this about Ironheart, and I realized this pretty quick when I was reading reviews on Facebook. A lot of people that were trashing it didn't even watch it, so they were giving it terrible ratings without actually watching it and doing any type of analysis on it. So
sure.
I couldn't take those I couldn't take those reviews. I had to take them with a grain of salt, basically.
Yeah, and I knew the ratings were going to be bad just because of someone like when they first started talking about Ironheart before they had made a casting decision. They said that this whoever's going to play Riri Williams is going to be trans. Like those were the stories that were coming out, so they're already they already got off to a rough start, and then her not being one of like it's a brand new character, and I get it if everybody likes the new character, but she wasn't cleaning it up on the books, so I don't understand why Marvel thought that was going to be a good thing, but it tracks though because that was during the summer of love 2020, and then a lot of white apologists, white guilt, they felt bad, and they was like, well, we got to make sure we have accurate representation. You do. You could have made War Machine. You could have made a War Machine show, or you could have made another Luke Cage show. You had plenty of
Both of which
black
did well.
actors. Yeah, you had plenty of black. I mean, Captain, the new Captain America, or you had plenty of black actors you could have picked from. If you want to pick from for black women, you could have just made a Storm spinoff, or really the real reason that I'm really upset about the whole why they didn't recast him because Captain or not Captain, but Black Panther and the Storm story. They're supposed to bridge the whole X-Men and Wakanda conversation or story arc, but we're never going to see that. They could have easily. I mean, we need to see another version of Storm on the big screen. Holly Berry is amazing, but we can get another Storm that goes another level. And Storm is one of the best X-Men characters out there. So she has an amazing story arcs with multiple other characters, especially with Black Panther. So they need to be thinking about that when they do the next Black Panther movie.
I would expand on that a little bit more. The X Men is going to be Marvel has to hit a home run with the X Men because they're on life support right now.
Yeah.
Like people are not watching like they used to. I don't care what anybody says, they're not. They got to hit a home run with X Men. That's their last chance. They are clearly all in on X Men being a central piece to this next phase. So hopefully
Yeah.
they get it right. In my opinion, they've yet to cast Storm like a good Storm, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I like a lot of those old X Men movies, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and we'll be covering Fantastic Four, which comes on in a few weeks as well. They need to hit a home run with that, and I've been
Yeah,
hearing some unsettling things about it, but I'm still going to watch it just because I'm still a Fantastic Four fan. So,
no doubt.
all right, we are going to jump to the next topic. MC, remind me. I'm sorry. Are we doing the Elon Musk party or Trump's response to the Epstein files?
Uh, so let's start with Trump.
All right, Donald Trump. Which Donald Trump has been kind of been having a very good time. Had an amazing week these last couple weeks, an amazing July really, And also, I mean, the stock market's been going gangbusters. So I know a lot of people, just like Trump, blah blah blah. Your 401ks, your 401ks would actually would say different. So
shout out to the people that own Nvidia stock. Y'all cooking right now.
hey, for real. All right, we are. Let's get. All right.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape?
Yeah, sure. If
Could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with
Sure.
what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the
I don't know,
tens of
Pam.
thousands of video, they
I don't know, Pam. You know what I hear?
I can do some shuffling too. Look out, man, what you gonna do? Look out, boys, it's coming through. Yeah, man, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard Pam shuffling a lot, and ain't nobody shuffling more than Dan Bongino and Cash Patel. They shuffling too. Dipsy.
Look, this is where I have smoke with both political parties when it comes to this stuff, because we both, let me say allegedly to protect the podcast. Allegedly, no, we have photo evidence. I'm just going to roll with it. We have photo evidence of a lot of prominent Dems and Republicans hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Intimately hanging out. I'm talking about private flights to his island, late hour parties. We have the evidence right there. And let's be honest, they ran on releasing this. They ran on releasing the MLK notes, and they said they were going to release the JFK notes. They haven't released any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And they
haven't released any new information.
Yeah, like everything that's already out there, we've already known for years. We already know that.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, and I'm going to get into a little bit of conspiracy with this, but I truly believe, and this is just my personal belief, this is just me standing on my one. I believe that a lot of these people in power do a lot of things like this and hang out with these women, with these young ladies, where they're not vetting their ages and they're not doing things with consent. We saw the accusations with Bill Cosby. Well, what nobody talked about was when he made the statement about Hugh Hefner. It's the exact same thing, man. Like, I'm not trusting anybody when it comes to this stuff. I do believe that there's some type of, it doesn't have to be a list per se. It could be a call log. It could be an email history. It could be a flight log, any of that information. But I believe that there is something out there like that exists. And for whatever reason, it's not being disclosed. And I think primarily because if we do know who's on that list, it's going to break a lot of people's hearts, and they will completely lose faith in our political system.
Yeah. Yeah. And I understand why a lot of people, and they're trying to make this into a story, and to some degree is somewhat of a story. To me, it's not a big deal. And just like Trump has said, there's been a lot of pluses. There's been a lot of great things that he's been able to get accomplished. He's accomplished more. I mean, he said pretty much everything on his list that has done, he has completed, like securing the border and, protecting women's sports, bring down grocery prices, like or eggs or whatever, tariffs and everything. All this stuff that is a pretty big accomplishment. And honestly, if you wanted to have smoke for Trump, if you really wanted, like, and this is why I don't understand with the Democrats, because if the Democrats really wanted to like bring up to like Trump's not upholding to, is not following what he said he would do, you can lean into this if you want, but then you got to worry about, why didn't Biden release the files then? I mean, they had the files, they could have did the same thing too. But I would go on the offense and say, like, why is Fani Willis still running around? Fani Willis is alleged to have committed some alleged again, used taxpayer funds. She's been abusing the law. We saw that in the Trump trial. That's, I don't know if it's been thrown out yet though, but it's definitely on pause. And so, and we have like Letitia James. She's currently being investigated for something related to like getting something with loans or whatever, loan rates or whatever. So that's there. We have Alvin Bragg. He hasn't been charged with anything. So we have a lot of people on the Democratic side that have went after Trump that has faced no additional prosecution. They're still in their jobs. They're still impacting Americans. And, I have yet to see that they've been brought to justice. They've been brought up to Capitol Hill. We saw some of these mayors get brought up, but some of these mayors haven't been arrested. And I'm not saying you need to arrest them for anything, though, but the way that they were talking when the Trump administration came in, I thought we were going to have a little more action with, especially with Brandon Johnson out in Chicago. I thought there was going to be a way more dialogue there, and nothing's really happened to Brandon Johnson. As a matter of fact, he's tripled down, so he ain't going anywhere. So, there's a conversation to be had there. As for the Epstein files, I get it. Like I said, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, Pam Bonding, I believe they thought they were going to be able to give out some information. They got to see the information and they couldn't disclose it. And so we're never going to get the additional details. And I can give Trump a pass on this. I hate to give somebody a pass, but Biden got away with every damn thing. And so, I don't want to say this is a Biden thing as well, too. But I'm not going to say this is a terrible thing. I'm more focused on, why are some of these rogue prosecutors still running around? Why are some of these rogue mayors still, getting in the way? Like, I understand they've taken some action against some judges that broke the law, like on camera broke the law. But for some of these mayors, they're still getting in the way. So I'm actually surprised about that. I have more smoke on that situation than the Epstein files.
Here's my frustration with politics in situations like this.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about this on my personal Facebook page, and the very first thing somebody did in my comments was posted a picture of Trump shaking hands with Jeffrey Epstein, right?
Oh, yeah.
So my response to that was, okay, I hear you, but why are you not keeping that same energy for the Clintons who have both been spotted with him?
Especially Bill.
And now what happens is, instead of talking about these young women who I believe, by the way, I saw a lot of testimonies and documentaries, I believe them. But now, instead of talking about what they had to go through and making sure it never happens again, now we're arguing politics again. Yeah. It's a complete distraction from the problem. This is the exact same thing that happened to me, TR, when I saw the movie Sound of Freedom when it came out in 2023.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't seen that movie, I recommend you see it, but I will never watch it more than once. It's a very good movie, but I would never watch it again.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, they tried to press that.
Yeah, when I tried to spark up a conversation about that, because it's based on a true story.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people made it political again, and now we're arguing politics. Well, I'm not going to see that movie because it came from a studio that's conservative and supports the Republican Party. I'm like, okay, now we're talking about politics as opposed to these are real people that have really been oppressed. Not that BS oppression stuff y'all be talking about because such and such at work doesn't like you. These people were really oppressed. And y'all don't want to talk about this. Y'all made it political. Instead, what we should be talking about is, okay, how do we make sure this never happens again? And that's always my frustration with topics like this. You said you were going to leak some files. You made it sound like you had something to be leaked, and then you did a complete 180 on this, and
Yeah.
now we're talking about politics again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's unfortunate. It's like I said, and Elon Musk, he actually, he's and Elon's fell out of favor with me. I know it's not a big deal, but Elon is trying to jump on this because I know he posted something on X stating if Trump can't release the Epstein files, how can he be trusted? I'm like, "Nigga, how can you be trusted?"
You want
Like,
to transition and talk about Elon, because I got some smoke for him too.
He and maybe we can roll this into the Elon America First party, but Elon, I mean, this guy, you know what? Matter of fact, I think we're good on the Epstein files here, so I think everybody knows where we stand at. But Elon, he took upon himself to say, you can't trust Trump, blah blah blah. Elon cannot be trusted. Elon has crashed out. Elon has been a proponent of the what were those visas called? The H1 visas for people from India. What is that called again? What's the name?
Give me a sec. I'll look it up.
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. But anyways, he's been a
H1B.
Yeah, okay, H1B visa. Okay. So he's been, pushing for those visas. And I get it. I was like, if you want some of the brightest people across the world doing some things, I would say you should go America first. And I'm sure he does have a lot of Americans working in his factories, though. But make no mistake, though, a lot of those visa guys coming over, they're taking American jobs there too. So that's the conversation that needs to be discussed. But back to Elon, though, Elon can be trusted. I mean, if anything, Elon wants to create this new party called America Party or whatever. And it's, at first I was thinking, I think I messaged you that this was going to be a terrible thing because it can come back and haunt the GOP. But I don't think it is. I think honestly, I'm more on the side that it's going to take more liberals, or really never Trumpers, but it'll probably, look a little bit more. It'll probably liberals will probably gravitate more to Elon, but it's not going to be that many. It's not enough to really, hurt the Republican Party. It's going to hurt the Democrats if it does take, catch fire. It's going to hurt the Democrats the most.
I said this months ago, and I'm going to stand on it today. Trump and AOC are going to cause splits in both parties, and Elon Musk just started step one on the conservative side. I'm waiting to see who's going to start step one on the left side, but Elon started it on the right side.
You really think he can hurt the conservatives?
I think anybody with as much money and influence as him can do some damage. Probably not significant at first, but give it time. That being said, I agree with you that I don't necessarily know if I can trust him. Within the last 12 months, TR, he's gone from liberal to moderate to conservative,
socialist,
libertarian, socialist, and now independent. So, and I get first of all, if you're a part of the Dems, everybody of significance in your party, you kick them out of there. Y'all got Elon out of there. He was with y'all at one point. Y'all got Joe Rogan out of there. He was with y'all at one point.
Yeah.
You got Tulsi Gabbard out of there. She was with y'all at one point. And I can keep going on. Lindy Lee, who was one of your biggest fundraisers, you got her up out of there. So a lot of this y'all kind of deserve. Y'all still haven't read the room correctly. Y'all still standing 10 toes down on the reason why y'all lost the election last year. You ain't trying to change. Actually, you're going even further to the left, in my opinion. But taking it back to Elon, I don't know what his end game is anymore. I think he just wants to be in the room, TR. I really do. He's so used to having money and power that it just frustrates him that he wasn't in the room. I was rocking with him when the Doge stuff was going on because we spend too much money and they identify so much fraud and waste. We talked about it in the previous podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But now I don't know what he's doing. And it's hard to trust him.
Yeah. I was going to play a video though, but I think we're cooking better than the video actually. So if Elon, okay, so here's the thing. If Elon says not about the money and Elon can't say why he's upset with the big, beautiful bill. He won't even tell anybody. He's just saying general statements. And so Elon, if he wanted to really, create a new party, or if he wanted to join a different party, wouldn't the smart thing to do would be join the libertarians? Like, if that's the case, if you want to have a smaller government and less spending, then go libertarian route. But the reason he won't go with the libertarian route, why I think he won't do it, is because he's still upset. And this is a billionaire, okay? And I know he has, more money than he'll be able to spend in any lifetime, plus his kids, his many kids. Elon, he wanted that those subsidies for his vehicles, for the electric car industry. That's what it was. And so when he says now about the money, that's fine. Go to libertarian route. That's why I don't think this is going to go anywhere. And then people have made the comparison with Ross Perot. Ross Perot was homegrown. Ross Perot actually had enough to kind of, get on the ballot. Anyone that's being backed by Elon is not going to get on the ballot. They're going to know that this person is just a puppet. They're a paid puppet. And Elon is not, or that person is not going to be able to win any seat. So, going 2028, the Republicans, I will say this, the Republicans cannot fall asleep come the midterms in 2028 as well, too, because what's coming down the pipeline is the progressives. We're already seeing the Democrat fold. We're already seeing the Democrats, morph into this new party, the Progressive Party with AOC, led by AOC, and then the Ramadan dude or Zoran. And then you got Jasmine Crockett out there as well, too. So we have a lot of people, a lot of progressives out there that are trying to change what the Democrats look like. And so I think that's a plus, an advantage to the Republicans, just as long as they don't do anything crazy or silly. As long as they stick to
That's a big FTR.
Yeah, I know.
We know that they typically do. We don't even know who's going to step up and challenge. I'm assuming it's going to be J.D. Vance or Vivek Ramaswamy.
Vivek's out. Vivek's out.
See, I disagree. I think Vivek still got a shot.
Here, and I'll tell you why Vivek. And we don't have to, stay on Vivek, but I think Vivek is out mainly because of what happened with Doge. Elon forced him out. Like, this is supposed to be your calling. You're supposed to be serving the people. And if Elon can force you out, what makes you think I can trust you in government? That's why I think Vivek is out. And he tried to take a victory lap when Elon crashed out. I'm like, if you knew Elon was deranged and you left because he was deranged, then I can never trust you in government, because if the going gets tough, you're just going to bolt and run. So that's why I don't think Vivek's going to be around, but everyone else,
there's some rumblings that he might run for governor of Ohio too.
Yeah.
But I still think between him and J.D. Vance, and to be clear, I like J.D. Vance. I think J.D. Vance is going to be a problem for the Dems, because Trump's biggest weakness is he can't read the room. You have to speak and communicate with different groups different ways, and people like J.D. Vance can talk with anybody. I told you that when he told me that he took a speech from Theory of Styles from Boys in the Hood, and he used it to write one of his speeches. That told me that he knows how to navigate and get stuff done with different groups of people. Trump is just like, look, I'm doing this. I know it's going to benefit you. If you don't rock with it, oh well, too bad. He's a little bit more brash, and J.D. Vance is a little bit more sociable, a little bit more likable,
tactful.
But I don't know who can match that from the Dem side, so it'll be interesting to see. But we know one thing for sure: can't be Elon Musk. He can't run for president.
Nope, not even close. Well, anyone backed by Elon, they're not going to go far. Elon's CEO just stepped down. Now, I had to look this up, though, because I heard that she has stepped down. So anytime someone steps down from Elon's post, they somehow end up on his post, pun intended. So, but she's married. So I don't think that would be the case. I was like, he might get a new baby mama now, but she's married. So with kids and everything. But this kind of shows that a lot of people, they can't work with Elon long term. And they know that Elon is, sometimes he'll be with the people and sometimes he'll be against the people. Like I said, there's enough information out there. I think Elon wanted to just be a part of the winning team, because really, if you think about when Elon didn't jump in with Trump until like after and most people didn't. They didn't jump in until, the attempt on Trump's life. Like most of them were like, we don't know what's going to win. He didn't start backing Trump until it was clear that he was going to be the winner, or at least the favorite going into the election cycle. And then it was hard to even defend Kamala Harris, though. So that just kind of tells you the type of person that Elon is.
You know why else? And I'm going to keep believing Vivek in here because I do believe he's not fully out. You know why? You know why the other advantage that Vivek and JD Vance have on whoever the Dems decide to put up going forward, they go and talk to people that disagree with them, and they'll do it for hours.
You're absolutely right.
They will sit and talk to somebody who disagrees with them for 3 hours. The last person, Kamala Harris, did not do that. Joe Biden did not do that.
Mm-hmm.
The Dems had the podcast community on lock, and it was a huge reason why they lost.
Yep.
Because they got them up out of there. They're just trying to tell people they didn't realize that people have trusted news as little as they ever have. And they suck at reading the room, and they're going to keep taking L's until they figure that out.
Yeah. So we're probably a little split on the new party and the level of impact though. But, when it come 2026, you got to be, you have to be mindful of where Elon's going to be at though, because this is the thing why I think Elon's impact may not be as strong. You remember Elon putting all that money in the Minnesota election? He said if you registered and whatnot, he was going to give away $1 million or whatever. Blah, blah. I don't know if that even happened, but the Republicans didn't win that race, which is the crazy part. They didn't win any seats up there. Now they did win seats down in Florida, but they didn't win any seats up there. Now, thankfully, they didn't need to win those seats to take over it was either the House or the Senate. But they didn't need the seats up in Minnesota though. So because of Florida just mopped the floor with everybody, with all the Democrats down there. So this is why having Elon involved will sometimes bring out people that just want to go against him, just like when they did with Trump. They just came out in droves to go against you, not supporting the candidate on the ticket. Really.
If the Dems were playing chess instead of checkers, they'd be trying to get Elon on the phone right now, trying to find some common ground.
I think they are.
That money. They should, but they'll find a way to fumble it. They will.
Yeah, sure. All right. We are getting to the last topic. We are going to the main event, and we are talking about Charlize Theron. I don't need a man. INDEPDE. Let me get this queued up. Are you a big fan of Charlize Theron, of her acting at least, MC?
I had to look up what movie she was in. I'm not particularly a fan, no.
So Charlize Theron,
and that was even before realizing what type of person she was.
That's true. Yeah. I didn't even realize, I knew she had like one kid that she adopted. I didn't realize she had 2 kids, and one of those kids is going through a transition, if you know what I mean. So, Charlize Theron, I mean, there's a lot of movies that she's played in that I actually did like. But this podcast that podcast tour she's on, oh man, it's just a bad look for women. It's a bad look for fathers. I mean, it's not a bad look for fathers, but it just shows you how they feel about fathers because they're so comfortable. Like, you can't even say this about moms, but when it comes to fathers, hey, all day we can say whatever we want, talk shit, do whatever. So let me get this video ready here for you.
And while you pulling that up, the podcast is called. I don't even want to shout them out, but we're using their content. It's called Call Me Daddy. And if you
pause. If you
listen to that podcast, it is the most anti-male podcast that I've heard. And by the way, Kamala Harris gave them $800,000 while she was running for president to do a trash interview.
And it's important that we have this discussion. I think we were talking about it earlier with the man that was before our stream cut out. The guy was just getting stepped on by this chick in his seat. The Alex Cooper, her podcast, that's who runs the Call Me. She has one of the most popular podcasts for women. So women are engaging in this content and they're seeing themselves, because that's what women do. They're like, oh, I want to be just like her. You don't need a man. And she's in her 50s, or she's about to be 50. And I don't want to spoil it, but she's getting tossed up. So it'll come together in this clip.
Do you understand that I can take things that are happening?
Do you know how fucking great it is?
Charlize Theron, entitled I Don't Need a Man. In it, Miss Theron explains how she reacts to people criticizing her for being a single mum.
I like want to just like look at them and just be like, do you know?
Also, who's really criticizing her for being a single mom? No one's really even doing that. We have tons of single moms. So it's not like everybody's like, oh, look at Charlize Theron. She's a millionaire. She's an actress. Like, no one's really going after Charlize Theron. They might be questions about the, whole Transformer conversation, but that's really about it.
How fucking great it is to live exactly how I want to live, to experience motherhood exactly how I wanted to experience it. And I know the next thing they say is like, well, that's not fair on your kids. Can I tell you something? That will be their story to tell. I can't tell you. I can only tell you that this is the best way that I know how to be a mother to them. And maybe they'll grow up and tell their story, and I will respect that.
Well, she also wanted audiences to know how liberating it is for her children not to have a father.
I love that I don't have to run every fucking thing by a guy. I love that I don't have to, well, oh my God, I fucking love that I don't have to do any of that stuff. And my children, we joke, listen, I think you can tell, like, this is how I raise my kids.
Yeah.
Like, right? We don't hide this shit.
But don't worry, while Charlize doesn't think husband or father is important in life, she hasn't given up on men altogether.
I found this freedom in my 40s where I'm like, oh my God. So I just want to say this in perspective. I've probably had 3 one-night stands in my entire life.
Okay.
But I did just recently fuck a 26-year-old, and it was really fucking amazing.
Fuck yes.
Yes. And I've never done that. And I was like, oh, this is great. Okay.
Let me just say that 26-year-old is the luckiest fucking man walking on this goddamn planet. He's walking different today, knowing, oh my God.
He for sure is not, but thank you.
No, he is.
Well, the episode's been viewed by nearly 1 million.
All right, we're gonna pause that real quick. Man, you know what? When she said the 26-year-old, I think it was a ninja that fucked her too. So Charlize Theron, man,
I can't speak on his race, but what I can tell you is to mess with a woman like that, he's got to be a beta.
Well, man,
that's the only type of man that could tolerate a woman like this for any extended amount of time.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And then for Alex Cooper to say like, oh, I bet he's walking different. Why would he be walking different? Do you hear what you make her seem like she's trans? Like that's what that comes across. So first of all, pause on that one, but also just the conversation. So we can go back to the video, but the three important things here though. So the easiest one is, she's 49, 26. I don't even care about age gaps like that. As long as everyone's legal and everyone's cool with it and down with it, do whatever you want. I'm not going to, Johnson police, but I know a lot of people like the Johnson police when it comes to like Jamie Foxx, Leonardo DiCaprio, even with Shannon Sharp just recently. And so, and Shannon Sharp is definitely paying the penalty for messing with that 19-year-old because she's about to mess up all the money for him for right now though. But, outside of that, I mean, there are plenty of, Al Pacino, he just had a kid with some, 20-something chick. So, but when those conversations come up, oh, you're a pervert and, you're disgusting. And, they start dropping the P word, the other P word, not pervert, but they start doing a lot of those things. And then we have Charlize Theron just casually throwing out there. Yeah, it was so liberating. Look, women out there, she's lying to y'all. You are not going to have that life. Like you can get tossed down, or you can get tossed up and slutted out. There'll probably be a lot of men. You probably won't have a problem getting slutted out like that though. Okay, let's just put that out there. But most women are not going to be able to be in that situation that she's in. Like usually there's some conversations that have to, go past that, but you're not going to have the same experience that she's having. She can just, be one and done and move on. But most women are not having that type of lifestyle.
Yeah. And first of all, some of the stuff that she said is some of the most selfish, self-centered nonsense that I've heard ever come out of a woman's mouth. For you to have kids and basically say that I do what I want, when I want, and how they feel about it, that's their story to tell. That's bull. Complete bull and nonsense. Anybody who's a good parent knows that when you have kids, that is one of the first things you forfeit. I can't do what I want to do anymore. If I stay out too late one night, it's going to mess up the way I interact with my wife and my daughter the next day. You lose some of those freedoms when you have kids. If you are a very active parent, and instead of trying to supplement your income and probably like 8 or 9 different nannies, instead of you being there fully, you would understand that. That's number one. Number two, one of the most attractive non-sexual things about a woman is watching her in her nurturing feminine spirit with your
Yeah.
children. At hands down, watching the way my wife deals with my daughter, I completely love that. And I know a lot of other men love seeing their ladies interact with the kids like that too. That's number two. Number three, what she's saying, I posted 2 studies that essentially say that children who have both a mother and a father in the house with them tend to have better outcomes and results than ones that do not. That's number three. And number four, you are a 49-year-old multimillionaire, and ironically, she's African American. But
Yeah, I had to look that up too.
you're a 49-year-old multimillionaire spewing this nonsense, and the women and most of the other women who are not multimillionaires are going to hear this, and they are going to think that this is normal and that this is acceptable. I know many single women, many who listen to this podcast, who have told me on multiple occasions, I'm tired. Matter of fact, Claudia Jordan just said it on a podcast last week. I'm tired of being an independent woman. Somebody come in here and help me. I lived a life of independence and being single, and I regret it. I probably should have pulled that clip and played it, TR. But
Yeah.
this chick is off the chain. And here's my final message. I always say, whatever hits the black community is eventually going to hit every other community. So now I'm talking to white men. I need you to understand, this is coming your way next. You're going to see more and more white women who think like this.
MC, they're already there.
Oh, I already know, but it's going to accelerate. You're going to meet more and more women who are going to take more pride in being a mother than they do than being a wife. So y'all better be prepared to deal with that, because the selfishness is going to be at an all-time high.
Yeah. Charlize Theron, I would have never expected her. Like, we don't see a lot of people coming out here and having the conversation of, why it's great to be a mom. Who was that football player that had that conversation at the commencement? Oh God, Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't know.
Remember, he said he was talking to women about being a wife. Screw those degrees or whatever.
Oh, that the kicker, was it Harrison
Butker? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Harrison, I mean, all he was telling was facts, and he got shamed for that. They tried to cancel him. They tried to get him kicked off. They tried to get the Chiefs to kick him off the team, and like just nonsensical things. And this is how far women have gone away from like their nature. And for a lot of men out there, because we just had a conversation with Andrew Tate, and I can see why a lot of men went to Andrew Tate, and he may have not been the best messenger for some of these things, but I know he did help some men. I just wish I would have seen more of the men come out there and say, hey, I'm Andrew Tate, because we see a lot of men discuss Kevin Samuels, and so, but I don't see a lot of men discussing Andrew Tate, so it might just be my algorithms or whatever the case is, as far as teachings though. But with Harrison Butker, I mean, just simply telling women that the most impact that you'll have, or the most rewarding thing you'll have, is actually being a mom and being a wife. And so I would love for us to get back to those two things with women when it comes to relationships. But I think a lot of men are being led by women. We saw that in the election. I'm never going to let that down. We saw like 92% or 90% of men, black men specifically, step in and say like, hey, I'm with you, sis, like being led by the women to vote for Kamala Harris. And then we saw white men being led by the white women who don't shave their arms, don't want to have kids. they want to fight for ghost babies. Like we've seen a lot of women do all that stuff, and those are type of women that you guys are fighting for. Okay, fine, whatever, it is what it is. But there's gonna be a point where being in the marriage is definitely going to be like, wow, you guys got married. How's that even possible nowadays? Like, it's going to be the conversation in the next, 10, 15 years. Are going to be like, what happened? What happened with all the men? What happened with relationships? Women like to call, Alex Cooper podcast, Charlize Theron, this feminization or this toxic feminism is what destroyed it. I mean, there's some other things destroyed it. Simps destroyed it too. I'm gonna put that out there. It's not just on the women.
Hey, here's another observation too, TR. Both of her children, black.
Yeah, black. Yeah.
Which segment of people in the United States have the fewest fathers in the home?
Oh, yeah. I mean, black people, or
Absolutely.
single moms. But yeah.
Let me drop this video real quick, TR, because I just found it, and this is a cautionary tale for the women who think that being single and independent is a flex. Take it from somebody who's been in the celebrity limelight for a long time.
Hey, no music, right? No music.
No music. We good.
All right.
Single. I'm tired, Erica. You found your man. Don't hate. Let me live this. Let me vent. You're off the strip. I am still on it. I'm in the trenches, and it
She's
sucks.
laughing.
I'm sick of being independent. I hate paying for my Range Rover, my other car, my mortgage insurance, my freaking cell phone, computer, Wi-Fi. I am sick of it. I need some guy with bad health to jump on in and interrupt and say, let me take you off your shift. You.
Did she say bad health?
She said bad health, TR.
I don't know if this video is going to help your argument, MC.
It's going to help my argument because I have footage of women for days crashing out talking about, I made a mistake. I need somebody to help me with this. I'm tired of doing this by myself. The bad health part, if you want to, you can use that and say her intentions are terrible. But the initial point that she made is 100% true. I talk to so many women who tell me that, and we in a previous podcast, we shared a study that was done where most millennial women say that they regret not getting married and staying with the father of their children. It's statistically proven. I don't know when it became controversial to make a statement that women need men. When did that become a controversial statement? Somebody help me out on that.
Yeah. No, it's never. I mean, maybe since after the 2000s, or sometime in the 2000s, maybe after Barack Obama's first election, that's when we started to see a shift in relationships, definitely with race. But not to say Barack Obama had a hand in it, but that's when I noticed a change when it came to relationships. Now, I think the message that the video you just played, I think the other message there is that men have to get comfortable just being it's going to be very difficult for you to get married nowadays, especially after 30. It's going to be very difficult. And she said she gave a list of things that she wants a man to do, not a list of things that she would want to do. And so I think a lot of women are capable of being in a marriage or even a relationship for more than like 3 years. So a lot of men need to be comfortable with that this is not going to last long, and keep your options open, because actually really just play the field though, because they just want you for like a bill here and a bill there. She said Range Rover and trips or whatever, or she said some other stuff. I know she said Range Rover. It's like, I got to come in and pay your bills. Like, what are you doing for me? Like, I'd be more inclined to believe her if she would have said like, look, I will cook, I will clean. Not that. Even
she definitely told on herself during that interview. I didn't play the whole thing, but she aired out how many cars she owns and how many. So she's definitely living outside of her means.
Yeah. So a man is supposed to step in and do that. But here's the other thing too. If it's just really about the money, just go make more money then, because you don't need a man to do that. Because what a man's going to require you, most men are going to require you to be some level of submission. And it's not like, I saw her. I'm not going to say she was terrible looking, but most men, you can get something cheap on the market, on the open market.
Like, she's 52.
Oh shit.
She was. Oh, by the way, according to Google, she was married from 2009 to 2010.
Oh shit. See, she found a guy to go through that with. So I just think for men have to do this. Men just got to make more money, and they can, date whoever they want, and just kind of really lease these women. because, and I know that's gonna, rub some people the wrong way though, but at the end of the day, if you're not gonna get the marriage, like if you turn 40, marriage is not a viable option for you though, because then you're rush into a marriage. And it's barely an option for you if you're in your 30s. Like if you go into your 30s or your early 30s with somebody, then you can definitely possible still get married as long as you spend enough time with each other. But after 40, you're not getting married. Like hands down, you can get married, but you'll probably get divorced too as well too. So, I just don't think it's a good option for most men out there after they hit 40, because the time it takes for you to want to be in a relationship. And if you want, like, I got a friend who wants to he wants to have kids. And so he's never had kids. He's been married, but he's never had kids. The crazy thing about this is that I asked him, or when he was dating someone, he's dating someone in their he's in his 40s, so his range is like 35 and up where he's at. And I'm like, why are you dating women around that time? He's like, oh yeah, that's just the age range that I'm comfortable dating with people. But you want to have kids. You can't date a woman that's in her late 35s to 40 and expect that you're going to have kids. The percentage goes down considerably. And so when you get to the 40 range, you're not having kids. So I'm telling him, like, why are you trying to date women that you know for a fact are not going to be able to have kids? Like, you're going to have to date a woman in her early 30s and dare I say, someone in their late 20s, and he would never go that far down. I'm like, motherfucker, do you want to have kids or not? When are you supposed to this is thing with that chick from Blackish. What's that chick's name?
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Yeah, Tracy Ellis Ross. A lot of men will get on here and cap and say she's good looking and she's put together. Okay, fine. I get it. She's good on the eyes, blah, blah, blah. You can't have kids with her. Like if she was her and whatever that JUCO Shannon Sharp had, you only got two options. And I know she's on the, she's selling the cat, but you can't have kids with Tracy Ellis Ross. You're not even going to come close to having kids with Tracy Ellis Ross. Chester Ellis, she doesn't even have fucking kids. So what makes you think you're going to be able to have kids with her? But men will get on here and get on social media and cap and say, she is somebody I can have a relationship with. Well, as long as you have kids, I mean, as long as you don't expect to have kids with her, I guess you can. But she's playing the field just like she's fucking 20-somethings.
Yeah. It's so weird that it's crickets when it's the woman who's doing that, but then when the man is doing it, you get all this outrage. But
Yeah.
they literally argue with science, TR. Like, we literally just posted articles that
Yep.
the National Institute of Health says you do much better with two parents. Geriatric pregnancy starts at age 35, but a lot of these women will tell you that they want to wait, and that they want to wait to damn near 40. There's
Get their
lots and
careers.
lots of extra risks that come with geriatric pregnancy.
Mhm.
Plus, it takes you longer to recover. You can do a quick Google search and see that on multiple medical sites. But you value your independence more than you do building up a team, and by definition, that makes you a terrible candidate for marriage.
Yeah. And one more thing, and might get back to the video. When she said, you know what, this is something that I'll hope with my kids. I hope they'll understand when they get older. First of all, majority of kids do not blame their mom when the father's not around. The majority of them don't. And I'm not saying the mom is a 100% is the reason why the father is around. It could be for a number of reasons. But she said, I don't want another man around. I want to do it the way that I want to fucking do it. And that is so disrespectful to the kids, though, because there are plenty of kids that would have loved to have, even with their mom, if their mom was with the dad, they would love to have the step. I mean, I've dated a lot of, moms, and I can tell you what, then they always had sons. They always love having me around because you have a man that takes an interest in your kid and wants to see your kid succeed. All boys, well, I guess that's the conversation there, but all boys want to have like that father figure that's close to them, root for them, do things with them, play video games with them, go biking with them. Like, they all want that. They all crave that. They all need to have that too, because as boys get older, they start challenging everything. And so that's when you got to have that that masculine presence there. But for, according to Charlize, she has two girls that are, or two boys or whatever it is, that are transitioning. So that might be the reason why she doesn't see fathers, someone being in that situation though. But it's a crazy sight to behold. And good luck out there, man.
All I'm gonna say is stop listening to these damn celebrities. They know nothing about the average daily life experience, especially women. Y'all be worshiping the hell out of these celebrities. Leave them alone. They can teach you nothing about your everyday
Real
life
things, yeah.
in a functional relationship. This lady probably got 4 different nannies taking care of her kids, and they spending no time with them. Stop
Exactly.
listening.
People so far, reaction has been divided between those who celebrate Charlize as, quote, a powerful badass, epitome of a strong woman fighting against the evil patriarchy, and others who, in equally strident language, view the whole episode as yet another example of modern feminist media denigrating the role of men at every given opportunity. All of which makes it a good starting point for a lively debate. Well, joining me for this battle of the sexes, host of
a 40-year-old attractive woman has sex with some random young man is because it's not impressive. It's impressive when men can bang young women, because most men can't bang young women, but most older women can bang young men. So it's just not an impressive accomplishment.
Okay. When he said, see, this is the other thing that, I've realized he's right in the sense that most older men cannot bang a young woman. That's broke men that cannot bang a younger woman. Most broke men. He needs to qualify that though, because he shuts the door when he says, most men. Like, no, we've seen a lot of men, older men banging younger women. So, he needs to correct that, but he was right on the other point.
But most men, and see, the thing about these conversations, TR, I think less than 1% of men make $1 million in work per year. It's like less than 1%. But when these people make statements like this, like the Claudia Jordans and the Charlize Theron's, like, they're speaking about their experiences dealing with those less than 1%. So this don't even apply to the average everyday person. I want you to pay attention to these two on the right on this panel though, because you can tell, if they're gonna bring up a black man, he's gonna be zesty. But you can see the two on the right are feminists, and just watching their facial expressions when Andrew Wilson is talking, it's just hilarious.
Of course, these are the same women who will screech because, Leonardo DiCaprio decides that he wants to change up, at 25 years old, any of the broads he has hanging around. But this is not an impressive accomplishment. All a woman needs to do to get laid is go somewhere where there's men and offer it up. It's not the case for men. So it's an unimpressive accomplishment on its face. As to the rest of what she's saying, this is just normal tripe, right? Her kids are the ones who are going to get punished. They're always the ones who get punished. We can look at the data for outcomes on children who are raised in single mother homes. It's not good. It's not good for their mental health. It's not. And by the way, the rates of abuse from having strange men around skyrocket. Terrible idea. And it's exactly the wrong kind of propaganda to be pushing.
All right, Taylor Lorenz, isn't it just a factual reality of life that women are predominantly happier with a man by their side and children are predominantly better off in life with a present father?
I think, listen, children are better off in life when they have a loving household, and not all of those households have fathers. I mean, there are lesbian parents, there are, different types of arrangements. I think it's important for kids to have different figures in their life who they can look up to.
Just real quick, pause. So the people who agree with that statement that she just made, I'm here to tell you, women cannot raise men. They can. I'm the living proof of that. But we've shown studies of that too. Look, I will put my mom up. My mom is the greatest mom ever. I will scream that into the hills. But most of the masculine lessons that I learned came from learning from my own mistakes and from having a solid group of people around me who mentored me, a solid group of men, not people, who mentored me and called me out on my BS. That's where my masculinity came from. That's how I learned how to conduct myself like a man. So this chick is way off.
Yeah, 100%, man.
And, I think it's really important to expose kids to all different types of figures, but that doesn't have to be, like a man, a cisgender man that's standing around all the time. There's plenty of terrible fathers out there too. So, I think it's great that the child is growing up in a loving household, and hopefully, she'll expose the child to lots of different types.
Yeah, but can you acknowledge that we have now been studying this phenomenon of single motherhood for years and years and years, and that the outcomes for children of single mothers tend to be terrible in comparison to the outcomes of children without them? Can you just acknowledge that that is true?
So I think what you're talking about are studies.
I'm asking a question. Don't run from the question. Yes or no? I want you to acknowledge with a yes or no, then a qualifier. Yes or no? Isn't it true that outcomes for children when they're raised by single mothers tend to be worse than those with a mother and a father in the house? Yes or no? Then give me your answer.
So I'd love to respond if you stop talking over me.
Go ahead.
Anyway, most single mothers are not Charlize Theron with millions and millions and millions of dollars. So when you look at studies like that, a lot of it has to do with the economic opportunities that a lot of single mothers have. Women make less than men as a whole. They're subject to more sexism and discrimination. So it can often be more challenging for them to raise a child alone.
So the answer is yes.
No, the answer is Charlize Theron.
It sounds like you just said that the answer is yes. The answer, according to you just now, is yes.
No, any single
and then you just make excuses for it. You're like, yes.
But why can they never answer? He asked a yes or no question. Is it true or false that children who come from single parent homes tend to have worse outcomes? It was a yes or no question.
It's the programming. She can't go against the programming because it will make women look bad. And if when she brought up the point about, well, most women don't have Charlize Theron's money. Okay, fair point. She can do things, very haphazardly, but whatever. But you still have to acknowledge, so take the Charlize Theron's and the women that have money out of it. Just in general, is that a bad idea? And she can't even answer that though. So, and I don't know if this woman has kids or not though, and she's acting like she doesn't have kids, but he's right to press her. And a lot of times, if she just say yes or no, that would have ended the conversation. He'd have nothing after it. She'd say, "Hey, you're right. You're absolutely right. This is not a good message that we're sending out to women." And I wish she had phrased it a little bit differently. She should have just said it works for her. She should have said she was selfish, and I want to do it my way, at the detriment of her kids.
I think now's a good time for us. I gotta call out men who give these type of women children and money, energy, attention, and time. Like, y'all gotta choose better. Well, part of the issue is women like this, as long as they're somewhat attractive, can still get the type of man that they want 9 times out of 10, because you're thinking with your head that's downstairs as
Tracy
opposed
Ellis.
to the one that's up. You're not thinking about how she's going to wreck your life if you knock her up. You're not thinking about how when she has that kid, it's my kid instead of our kid. You're not thinking about any of that stuff. You're just thinking about how to get off for the night. And then you want people to sit around and feel sorry for you when you're dealing with a baby's mother who's making your life a living hell.
Right.
Because women are
right now. This is so weird. You're like shouting at me.
I jump in here,
do you know what it is?
I just want to hear her.
Time out. Let's bring in Jedediah.
Taylor, this is not rocket science. First of all, you lost me at cis male. You just meet a guy, just a man, right? We don't need all these terms, these nonsensical, ridiculous terms that modern leftists have come up with. It's just a man. Children do better when there is a mom and there is a dad. And the reason is that men and women are completely different. They bring very different things to the table. And children need the role model of a mom and a dad, not just people around. Sure, you can have aunts, you can have uncles, you can have friends, but we're talking about the two individuals that are raising children. And let me just ask you this question. Wait, I'm not done yet. You complained that Andrew interrupted you, and now you just interrupted me. I'm not done yet. Charlize Theron, you're right. She is rich. She has a ton of money. But what example do you think she's sending to young women everywhere that this is somehow empowering, that you should strive? By the way, you should strive to be the single mom because you don't have to deal with a guy. You don't have to answer to a man. Oh, isn't that so wonderful? And guess who'll pay the price? My kid. She even says, my kids can tell their story. How unbelievably selfish of her to say, my children will one day to get to tell a story that they had no father because I decided that I just wanted to do this myself. Me, myself, and my money. Is that the message that we should be sending to young women?
They're lesbian. They shouldn't be able to raise children. You need a
Yeah, I'm gonna. That's good. I don't care what the other guy. I don't care what the, other dudes.
Well,
What
the
he has
sexy
to
black
say.
dude just came in and just did on everything that the feminist lady said. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I gotta say, so when women, this is a crazy thing too. So I'm okay with women when they point out this nonsense stuff. It's just they point it out when it occurs. They don't always point this out when just in general. Like we have these conversations all the time, but they only point it out when like a big celebrity is, saying something idiotic on the socials. This needs to be, preached to everyone. This needs to be preached everywhere. And I can tell you, she probably had, I don't know where the chick in the blue headphones, but she probably has a more of a male centric audience. And so I don't know if it's going to reach women. The only people that tend to reach women are these, Alex Cooper podcasts, the Michelle Obama's podcasts. Like these are
You just
terrible.
refuse to say the name of that podcast, don't you?
Hey, yeah, shit. Her name is Alex Cooper, but there's a lot of women podcasts out there. They don't have these. They refuse to have these conversations. They refuse to like even acknowledge like the real elephant in the room. And if they were to ask their kids, like, "Hey, do you think life would have been a little bit different?" A lot of times, these kids are gonna be like, if these kids are talking to their mom, they're gonna spare their mom's feelings. If they're not talking to their mom, talking to someone in general, they're gonna tell the truth. Like, yeah, I wish I did have a father. I wish mom would have got all these fucking simps out here. And you can't find one step dummy. Come on, they just don't want them in there.
Yeah. I'm gonna just end it here because I'm sick of this lady. Fellas, you got to stop giving your heart to women who think like this. You got to stop giving that MEAT acronym we just talked about. You got to stop. You got to vet these women better, and you got to make better choices. She's going to make your life a living hell if you knock her up. She doesn't care about anything outside of herself, but you can't see past that because she's attractive, and you got to start to see past that.
Yeah. And I'll say this, there's something to be said about Leonardo DiCaprio, Nick Cannon, Jamie Foxx, and there's probably some other men out there that have been pretty good about their relation. Well, Derek Jeter, I know he's married right now, but when he was, in his younger days, you got to look at, you're going to have to look at how these men are operating. They're not always super flashy about the women that they're dating. Every now and then you might see them pop up in the picture, but they have like the situation under control. And it's generally because, they probably put some expectation on the woman going into the relationship. So I know these men, with the exception of Derek Jeter, are not trying to get married at this point in their careers, but like I said, they put the expectation, and maybe they got signed some paperwork, but they never have these problems.
Yeah, it's just a cold game, man. I'm glad I'm out of it. You can have all this single stuff, TR.
Yeah, I'll tell you some more stories on here. So, all right, that is going to wrap up tonight's podcast. MC, final thoughts?
No, we cooked tonight. I really wanted to get to that liberal conversation we're gonna have. We might have to roll that over the next week.
All right. Well, yeah, we there's a lot of topics that we put out there we just can't get to because of time. So, but hopefully, we'll be able to do in the future podcast. So, all right, everyone, we'll see you next time.
Peace.